Ministry is hard, man. It's hard. You've been in ministry a long time with me.
It's hard.
Nate Dog / Jonathan / Nathan / all things Jonathan Mew, Kimberly Basher, Samantha Molson here. 3 weeks in a row? 2 weeks in a row?
3.
3 weeks in a
This is
row.
week 3.
And you have one more for sure, at least. Samantha hated podcasts, would cry anytime I would ask her to be on one, and now has been a so bad at one point. Like Dan called me and was like, "Hey, Pastor, what is the podcast about today? Because Samantha's freaking out and she doesn't know what the podcast is about, and she's afraid of whatever questions you're gonna ask her or whatever." So. And it was like me, you, and Maddie on that one or something, and he was like, "Can you give her a heads up?" And she's gonna be so mad at me that I called you.
I was too,
and she was.
I was so mad.
So now she went from never asking her to join a podcast to now 3 weeks in a row and at least one more week for Love Illuminated.
We're doing fine.
We're doing fine. We're good. We're good. She said this is easy conversation talking about outreach to the community.
Yeah.
Ministry's hard. We've invested a lot of money into this month that we've been a part of. We've done a lot of things in the community. I know you did a few things with the Aynor campus. You took cake pop somewhere and treats somewhere. What was that?
Biscuits with the school.
Johnny was a part of it, no doubt about it. He loves doing biscuits.
Yes,
he'd do a biscuit every time he goes somewhere.
Yes, and then we did cake pops to businesses around Aynor.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And good interaction there. Everybody pleasant,
was great.
thankful.
Everybody loved it. It was a great experience. They felt loved and seen.
Good.
Yes.
To the school, like a elementary school.
Yes, we went to our team because we had 2 different teams. One went to one elementary school, one went to the other. The one in Aynor, they didn't want anybody to stay, but that one, the one I went to, so I got to stay, and then I know all those people, so I got to hug them and love on them.
Nice.
So it was great. So
Super
I enjoyed it. Yep.
Super cool. I know Dan, your husband, that called me and asked me for feedback for the. I know he did the wheelchair basketball game.
He did.
And loved it.
Loved it.
Matt Hedrick came in on Sunday morning. He was like, "My arms are so sore." You don't realize how much upper body strength it takes to be a part of that. And Jose's amazing. Their team's amazing. Everybody that went was they just had nothing but rave reviews of being able to go out there and play with them, and they were very nice and very understanding of our inability to play to their level, and they were like, "Yeah, no worries, come have a good time." So
Jose said, "Please play."
Yeah, so that was cool. I think we had like 30 or 40 people show up for that one, right? It was
a
huge crowd.
Yeah, it was great.
And then we've done some stuff this week where your dad actually tagged our church on a post.
Yeah, no, I tagged you on it.
And you tagged me.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Your dad went to just randomly pulled up to get gas, and our Socastee campus was out there pumping gas for people purchasing their gas. And so I can't remember what your dad said, but something like
he said, I think it was like shout out to Palmetto Pointe, for the free gas this morning. And even I followed up with him after I tagged you on it. I spoke with him yesterday. He had to drop his truck off for some repairs, so I gave him a ride home, and he was still talking about it, talking about how hey, this really meant a lot, and he also mentioned how Jamie Scott's son, Trace was also was out there, and they said they filled his truck up, and he was just blown away by it.
Super cool.
And so the impact that I know we're trying to make there, which is a simple but profound impact, is that show love to people with no agenda. It was monumental, exponential from a standpoint of really going above and beyond. Because hey, I'll be real, and I'm sure he'll watch this. My dad's hard to impress, he's a long time, right? So for him to take the time to do that was a big thing, So yeah,
hard to impress. Isn't very social media savvy, and to take time to figure out how to tag the church in a post. Byron, we love you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the shout out. And then our Clemson campus. This morning I saw a post there at a local coffee, which ironically we got kicked out of a coffee place, but they're at a local coffee place there in Clemson, purchasing coffee for people, and they have I saw one of the kids had a sign saying free coffee and free prayer. So I think they're praying for people that need prayer, and so super cool series that we're a part of. The concept last Sunday of you can have faith that move mountains, but have not love, it means nothing. And we're walking into this Sunday. This will post Friday, so walking into this Sunday, a couple days from now, where we will talk about you can have faith to give your body to be burned, give all your money to feed the poor, and have not love, and it means nothing. And I think that's what you see during this season, during this month, is that there's a lot of opportunity to do things just sheerly for the fact of I did it. But when you're doing it from a place of love, it means so much to the people that are recipients of what you are doing. In our devotional that was sent out this week to the church, this morning's devotional was talking about somebody coming through a grocery store and not having enough money to pay, and then they go to, I can't afford this item, so let me put it away. And you say, this person says, I always say, no, put it on my tab, and he said, you do that not to shout to the store, ha ha ha, this idiot couldn't afford their groceries or whatever, to embarrass them, because then that gift means nothing to that person.
Mm-hmm.
But you do it and you say, no, hey man, this is for you. You take it. I want to make sure you got what you need. And then that person, So anyways, this concept of doing the stuff that we're doing from a place of love, has the heart of outreach been, obviously it's been encouraged during this month, but have you seen some tweaks in some people? Have you seen maybe some different sides of people? Have you seen maybe some people who are more willing to do or get outside of their comfort zone inside of this? What have you seen from your team or your people through this month?
There's a core group of my people. I call them my people because they just serve with me all the time. But there's that core group, and they always have pure motives.
Yeah.
They always serve from a place of love. But I've definitely seen new faces, new people stepping outside of their comfort zone and just being willing to go that extra mile because they know the impact that we're trying to make. And so it's been really cool to watch people, especially, I know we talked a lot about Miracle League, but that can be uncomfortable for people, especially if you've never, worked with kids or worked, with those who have special needs. It can be uncomfortable to know what to do or how to react depending on, what their need is, and to just see people going above and beyond for the community and going, okay, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm just going to do it anyway. It's been really cool.
I would think to me, it feels like if you are Angie or Pastor Cliff and your heart is prayer, it feels like going through sacred season for me, for you, for this season, with them in sacred season, everybody's praying and everybody's showing up to prayer and it's amazing. And they just feel so encouraged. Or I feel like if you're Simeon and you're doing nights of worship and all these people show up for nights of worship, you're just this is so amazing seeing all these people participating in what you do week in and week out. And so I hope you have felt that sense of encouragement and support from the church of, hey, we, kind of like sacred season. Hey, we're not going to pray all year long, but we will pray for a month during sacred season, Hey, we're not going to serve with you all year long, but we will find an event this month and serve with you. So I hope you have felt the encouragement from the church family.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
And I think that they've walked away. We always say, if only for one. If we do all this and we put all this out there for one person, if this event impacts one, it's worth it. And I think there have been some events that have been smaller scale and we impact one person, but the impact is so great that they walk away going, man, that was worth the hour that I just spent doing whatever.
Yeah,
For sure.
I saw where Tiffany had posted where they were
So
at
cool.
IGA, and she said on there she needed us today.
Yeah.
So not only is the person walk away filled, but the person that's serving, it's changing their life and walking away. And same thing with the devotion this morning, talking about how it's not that we're showing everybody, we're posting all of these things all over. And I'm sure some people are sitting back saying, well, you're not supposed to be showing everybody
Don't let
what
your
you're
left hand
doing,
know what
what
your right hand's doing.
But on the flip side, you're encouraging other people to step out of their comfort zone and do something kind for somebody, because whenever you do, not only is that person rewarded, but you're rewarded as well.
Matthew 5, let your light shine before
Yeah.
men so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven.
Amen. Yeah.
So that's the reason why we're posting stuff, is so that the world can see what God is doing and glorify him through us.
Yeah.
This is not for Palmetto Pointe Church to get glory.
No.
The
It's
world
for
has
him.
a choice, right?
Absolutely.
If they need something, they have a choice of who they're going to reach out to when they need help.
That's right.
And if their only choice, if their only outlet is, say social media, right? And hey, they sit on social media half the day, right?
Which a lot of people do.
And they see non-Christian, organizations or whatever things in the world that are helping people, right? And that's all they see. But that's where they want to go, right? But
That's right.
in a moment where they really need something, whether it be a bag of groceries or a haircut, right? Or it may be something that we may not have necessarily done a specific outreach for. They're going to have a choice to reach out to that worldly organization. All they're going to get is maybe just some kind of material help, or to reach out to us and get. Oftentimes, we can't, obviously can't, meet every request, but even if we can't meet that specific request, we give them that, they're going to leave with something that's invaluable, which is a message about the love of Jesus.
Eternal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if we don't post that and put it out there, then they're not going to know.
That's right.
So there is purpose in the posting.
Jeremy, he's incredible. He's the guy that follows me around with a headset on every Sunday. Jeremy's awesome. And God has done a work inside of him in this church to bring some healing to his life, to his some church hurt stuff, some different things, some hurt, some actual deep stuff. But anyways, God's used this church to bring some healing. His testimony in leadership development is so beautiful of just the reason why he wants to protect what God is doing here. Anyways, it's really cool. But he sent me a text today of a screenshot, and it said 4 years ago. And he said, my goodness, Pastor, how my life has changed in 4 years. And the screenshot said, isn't it funny that I'm receiving more love from Hell's Angels than I am church people?
Wow.
Wow.
And in 4 years, that was his thought 4 years ago. And in 4 years, he's completely changed. He was with me at IPP Sunday whenever I was preaching to our Hispanic campus. He was there with me, celebrating and worshiping God there on our Hispanic campus with me. God has absolutely changed his life. But to your point, that was his perspective 4 years ago.
Yeah.
If I need love, I'll reach out to the Hell's Angels because they're going to be more loving than the local churches, which is this weird balance of we're not doing it to get a photo op, but we're trying to get a picture so that we can show the world we want to do something good in the community and show love. It's such a weird balance. And I know there's all the time. It happens all the time. I'm in meetings where they'll say, Samantha, did you get a picture from there? And you're like, nope, sorry. Whoops, totally missed it. Because your motives are pure. You're not doing it to get a picture. You're doing it because you want to love people and you want to bless people. And you hope that during that process somebody accidentally gets a picture. But that's not the desired plan from the outreach event.
Yeah.
The plan is, let's go show them love. And I would say the beauty of so let's talk you really quickly. When you came to this ministry, was this like a thing, like community, like outreach, like I just want to help people? Like, was that a thing, or was this like God stirring something in you? Like, how did you get to this place?
I definitely think, I think a little bit is just who I am. Like, I'm a servant, so, I like to help people. But I think God was really stirring it in me, especially because I was so much in the world when I came to Palmetto Pointe. I was kind of holding hands with both and back and forth. And so just to be able to pull people into what the church is doing and show them that there is another life that you can lead and there's more than what the world's going to give you. Here we go, crying. But just to be able to show that to people,
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. I mean, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
You were in the conversations outside of the church of people saying, "Oh, they just want our money," or "Oh, what a waste that is," or "How boring and old and stagnant." And so then you've felt the refreshing of the goodness of God inside of a church family like this, and you're like, I don't want anybody to ever have to go back to experience this again.
Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful.
to be able to love on people and to pull them into what God can do in their life is huge.
Beautiful. Love it. Do y'all remember 17 years ago when we started these things? How long you and Tony been married? 20?
We'll be married 19 years.
So it was about
In a few
17, 18 years ago we
Yeah.
started, maybe less than that, 15, 16, 17 years ago, where we started having Faith in Action Week, or we started, forgot, Love Illuminated was one of them, Faith in Action was one of them. There was something else that we called it. I can't remember, but we would, at that point, we would do an event each night for a week, because that's all the volunteers we could do
Right.
was 1 week worth of events. And I just remember, we got some pictures of,
Yeah.
we were looking at one the other day of
Yeah,
you and Angie, who look completely different.
Yes, both of us.
Both of y'all look completely different back then.
Praise the Lord for good times, right? I remember us going to the Boys and Girls Home. I
Boys and
remember
Girls
Anna
Home.
Clark. She was 3. She was little. BJ
So how old is she now?
Munn,
How old is she now?
She's 18.
18. So it would have been
Yeah.
15 years ago
Yeah.
that would have been one of the weeks. So at least 15 years
Yeah.
ago, we were doing these things.
Wow.
We were going to the Boys and Girls Club. We would go out there. We do a grill out with them, play sports with them. What was the name of it? Seacoast or Seaside or
Seacoast.
Seacoast?
On,
I think it was
Bear
Seacoast.
Road?
Yeah, over
Yeah.
there near the.
Used
What,
to be
used to be
Raccoon
Raccoon
Run.
Run, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, those little things that from the very beginning, this is what our heart was, and this is who we are. So I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, we look different, praise the Lord, but we
Yeah.
are who we are on the inside.
You lost a person and I gained a person. So you gained
I
a person
don't-
as well. So but truly, I say all that. I say that to kind of make this point, is that this is who we are as a church.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not something that we're like, oh, let's just throw some money at the community. No, this is who we've been back when we were,
We were broke. We didn't have
Yes.
anything.
one of our events is one of the most famous Kim Basher stories of all time.
Which was what?
Coastal Carolina. That was during Faith in Action Week.
And the reason why
We
is
went-
because we were broke.
We were broke. We went to Coastal Carolina, and Kimberly was in charge. So every day we would have somebody that was like we do now. You're in charge of this
Yeah.
event. So Kimberly was in charge of this one, and she went and bought hot dogs. And the kids. Now listen, poor college kids. Now this was back. Coastal used to be wide open campus. They would let us do anything we
Right.
wanted to out there. We could go out there and serve, and we set up a grill right in the middle of
Yeah.
the commons area, and those kids were walking by. We're grilling hot dogs. Kids are walking by. We're giving them hot dogs. Got our shirts on, telling them, it was so cool, such a cool moment. And Kimberly bought like these
The cheap hot dogs, guys.
these
the
red
cheap
hot
The
dogs.
red
ones.
ones. It was the red
ones.
ones, man.
Everybody thought they were spicy.
Okay, flip side.
Okay, flip side.
That's what I eat. I mean, that's what my family
Hey,
eats.
with
is
the red
red
chili,
hot
let's
dogs.
make it happen,
And they're
right?
like, they're red. Are they spicy?
Are they
And I'm like,
spicy?
no, they're normal hot dogs.
We
Those
had
are normal
trouble
hot dogs.
giving college kids hot dogs
Yeah.
Because they're red.
because they were red. And I'm
Yeah.
talking like red.
Red hot dogs.
Yeah.
They look like, the cheese that has like the red wax on the outside? They look like that on the outside. Like, is this like a fake hot dog? Is it like a wax hot dog? Like, what are you doing?
It's good hot dogs. It was
well,
good.
Yeah, that
I
was
tried 'em.
definitely
Yeah.
one of those unforgettable moments. Has there been a moment like that during this?
oh gosh.
One of those we talked last week about Duncan. I think Duncan's going to be one of those unforgettable moments.
Oh, yeah.
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 We talked earlier about the Miss Kathy taking
Yeah.
food to a work crew.
That for sure. That's the one that's like popping into my mind. So this is one we had just 2 ladies. An event had fallen off the calendar, and so it was like I drove past a work crew at night on the way home, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, we could probably serve lunch or dinner to a work crew. Like that could be an easy one that we could throw on the calendar." So Dan has connections with some local work crews from his job, and he reached out to people, and we got it all hooked up. And so we went, and the day before we went, I got a call from the guy who was coordinating it, and he said, hey, just to let you know, one of the guys that's on the work crew, Daryl, was diagnosed with liver cancer last week.
Wow.
And he said, I don't know where he's at. Like, I don't know if he knows the Lord. I don't know, what that looks like in his life. But, man, and he couldn't come up with the words. And I said, a God opportunity. And he said, yes, this is a God opportunity. I said, no doubt. So, they just brought lunch up there, and were able to pray with him and for him, and just tears, and it impacted him so much to be able to have that time of prayer and people just to love on him.
What are you so emotional about today?
I love it.
I don't know, but here
We're
we
going
are.
to call this podcast Crying with Samantha.
You can. Oh gosh, I hate crying, y'all. Push it down.
Because there are events that after this we will continue doing. We will continue doing Miracle League.
Mm-hmm.
We will continue doing the Wheelchair Basketball League.
For sure.
There's a group of 30 people that are like, when are we doing that again? That was
Yes.
amazing. We will continue doing certain things. But then there's moments that we're like, that was special. That was special attached to, I think Tiffany will have that conversation about KJ's.
Yeah.
Where she's they're walking in, people are walking into a grocery store, and we're handing them a gift card to go into the grocery store. Hey, we just love you. We just want to say, whatever. And I think Tiffany had that moment with that lady to where probably both of them will walk away and say that was, we won't do that monthly. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was a moment where that was special for that person. And I think that's what you found throughout this whole month, where there's been these moments that have just been really special. That was special. That was beautiful. That was unique. That was God ordained. That was God orchestrated. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I think finding new outreach adventures is a plus, but the people that God has aligned us to impact through this has been really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really
it has.
cool. So I know, like, even your daughter is getting my daughter up early. To take her to, because Duncan gave us the boot.
Yep.
To take us to Starbucks. Take her to Starbucks tomorrow morning for an event at Starbucks, where now I'm assuming, set it up with their management, and they're
Yep.
good.
We'll see.
They're
So
good.
far.
We'll see.
and they're good. We're just gonna.
Yeah, we're going to do the same thing. Just give people gift cards, buy coffee or whatever they're getting at Starbucks, and put a little encouraging note attached to it. And hopefully everybody will be fine.
Did we already pre-buy the gift cards?
Yes.
Okay, well, we might be drinking
that's
a lot of Starbucks next month around here.
Listen, I'm just going to go off of the property and hand it out to the people driving in.
Scott Slate hates when we do Starbucks around here. People be like, hey, Starbucks order. And Scott's like, I have coffee up front if you need coffee. And, like,
And I love it. Please don't ever stop making it, Scott.
yeah, but there's
Love it.
something special about that oat milk, brown sugar, shaken espresso, ice thing. It's good. Something
It is
different.
good.
I like the
Something different.
refreshers.
The refreshers, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my wife's hooked on those.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My daughter's hooked on Starbucks water. My
I
wife loves those.
I
Yeah.
heard it's amazing.
Yeah, well, what happens is my wife, Jessica, hi, honey. Well, she'll go to Starbucks to get the refreshers, and my daughter, if I brought her in here right now and I showed her a logo, she'd be like, Starbucks.
She, what, 2 years old?
Yes. But she just gets water, but she knows it as Starbucks.
How cool.
So when my wife gets the refreshers, she gets Starbucks.
I heard there, like, the other day, somebody was going, and Joseph's like, hey, can you get me water from there? And I'm like,
There's water in the fridge.
right.
Is it the ice?
I don't know.
It could be, yeah. Because that's probably filtered.
I don't think they have like special nugget ice, like Chick-fil-A.
I think
Sonic?
it is.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's like the regular crushed like nugget ice, isn't it? You can tell I don't drink Starbucks all
it's
that
not.
often.
I don't think it's.
No, it's,
Yes,
it's just regular.
I think it's just regular ice.
Yeah, it's just
I'm
regular
gonna
ice.
check. You check that out tomorrow whenever you
I
go.
will check it out.
Yeah.
I think
Hey,
it's just regular though.
Try one of those waters.
What Starbucks are you going to be at?
The one in Carolina Forest.
Okay. Carolina Forest.
Debo Street or Debo
Yeah,
Road or something.
For sure. What time to what time? From
8 to 10.
till
we run
till
out.
we'll run out of cards.
8 till whenever we run out.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. So this podcast will already have been posted, but hopefully you got your free coffee
I hope
yesterday.
so.
Yeah.
This event will already have been over before you see this podcast, but hopefully you got a free coffee. If not, you should stop by Starbucks and cross your fingers and hope somebody's buying you a coffee when you get there.
Yeah.
So in life, Jonathan, Nate has been a salesman of all things.
Feels like it, yeah.
Dude is, he's the guy that can. I said this phrase the other day, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, yeah, Jonathan can sell, or I wasn't talking about you. I don't remember who I was talking about, but I was like, they can sell ketchup popsicles to a woman in white gloves. Or I said they can sell iced and Eskimo or one of those, and they were like, I don't
It was the ketchup one.
The ketchup one?
Because I've heard the iced to an
ketchup,
Eskimo, and then
ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, and they're like,
I was like, what are you talking
what?
about?
Jonathan can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
You just have to sell it at the right time when she needs ketchup for her cheeseburger and prioritizes that cheeseburger over having to wash
Over
her
a
white
white
glove.
glove, right.
Same thing with the Eskimo, right? And an Eskimo, if he needs to build a house, he needs ice.
He needs ice.
And he's not paying the extra amount. He's got free ice, but he'd rather pay for it than
To
to
be
have to do
shaped
the
well.
work to
Right.
go cut the ice and do it himself.
That's true.
You
That
just have to
is so
find
funny.
the motivation and the reason, right?
So
why they need it, even though they don't know they need it.
So Jonathan is the salesman of all things. I have watched you. They make shows now about you that I wish YouTube and TikTok was around
Oh my
20 years
goodness.
ago, because there's a dude now. I can't think of his name. He's friends with Mr. Beast, and he took a paper clip and turned it into like just bartered up the whole way and turned it into this crate, like plane tickets and $10,000 worth. I mean, it's crazy. And I thought to myself, if YouTube was a thing 20 years ago, Jonathan, you could do this right here.
I remember obviously I'm from Dillon. Hello to all my Dillon friends. I remember in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, when, whether it was Crybaby bubble gum or, the little 10-cent packs of, like Boston baked beans and Jawbreaker stuff. If I had $1 or $2, whatever, I would take it and I'd go buy $2 worth of candy right next to the store at my bus stop.
For sure.
I'd come home with 10.
Yeah.
Because I was selling it at school.
No doubt.
I've always had that entrepreneur mindset, right?
No doubt.
And I don't. Even back then, it wasn't necessarily because I just enjoy sales. I enjoy the opportunity. But back then, but obviously, as I've grown older and
Matured.
I wasn't going to use that word just yet because growing up's overrated.
You matured a little bit.
Right. But I've learned that whether it be in my professional career, in whether it be in leadership, and I'm trying to, sell a training process, or whether it be, especially in ministry, we really are salespeople of the gospel.
Absolutely.
Right. And one of the key things of sales that one of the key techniques and
I think let me just make sure that sales is not attached to financial.
right.
We're not trying to financially sell you the gospel. We're trying to pitch the gospel in such a way that you want it in your life.
Yeah.
You accept what
which is sales at its finest.
Absolutely. That's a perfect way to put it as well, because if you don't differentiate it, you actually are counterproductive in your approach.
For sure.
Because you never know the past interaction that those that you're speaking with have had with church people, right?
Sure.
And there's so
I
much,
mean, you've experienced that inside of this series.
Mm-hmm.
Aner Folk are different.
Aynor Folk's different.
Aner Folk are different, right? So
They live in
there's
churches.
no doubt that you take cake pops into businesses in Aynor, and they just open their doors. And now
Love
Aynor's changing a little bit. My grandma's road is jam full of. She calls them all Northerners.
Yes.
I'm like, Grandma, that person from North Carolina. She's like, hey, from
North.
North Carolina. So, but Aynor's changing a little bit.
Yes.
You know, I heard there's some, a few different things, but overall,
Yeah.
you take some cake pops into businesses in Aynor.
Yeah.
Open arms,
Right.
hug, thank you. They may not have had the greatest experience with church, but they at least have a foundation that says there's some really great people attached to the
Right.
church. My grandma was amazing, or my grandpa was amazing, or my aunt, she's a saint of the Lord in a church somewhere. So
Yes.
that's what you're getting from Aynor. Around here, though, you didn't
You
get
never
nothing.
know what
No.
you're going to
You
get.
never know
You
what you're
never
going to
know.
get.
No.
And you're getting a lot of people who are jaded to the thought process of church, don't want you to help them, don't want you to give them anything, think you want to sell them something, think
Yeah.
you want something from them. And so you're in this weird balance of trying to be nice, kind, loving, but also pull down their guard. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to pitch this to you in such a way. I want you to give me one key. You're training. This is what you do for a living. Okay, you're training somebody on. They're trying to sell a product. Again, we're not trying to sell, but they're trying to present a product to someone. Our product just happens to be the most amazing thing ever. His name is Jesus.
Right.
We're trying to present this to someone. They have their guard up. Give me a nugget or a key to break through the guard, to unlock the door, to tear down the wall. Give me a nugget or a key for somebody watching this who's gone through Love Illuminated and who says, I can't serve because I don't deal well with rejection. Give me a key. Give me something that you would say to one of your salesmen.
Before you're never going to be able to overcome. First of all, you're never going to be able to overcome an objection if you misdiagnose it as an objection when it's really just a concern. But the biggest thing
Okay.
I found is that, and I'll recall back to when I was selling vacations. Honestly, when I first got in there and I never sold the product before, I kept getting the, I want to think about it. It's too good to be true, right? And that was so. I found that in order to be able to overcome an objection, I need to have already prepared myself. First of all, to know what the top objections are.
Okay.
What's the most common objection that I'm gonna get? What's the, you want to do some research to figure out, maybe, what
I
are
love
some
this.
of the,
I
the
love
less
this.
common?
So we're preparing for the objection. What are the objections that you get whenever you're trying to love people?
Oh gosh.
What are the things people are
Um,
saying? Why I'm not interested. I'm not. What are they saying to you? Why are they rejecting our love?
Oh man, sometimes we don't get a reason. It's just a
Just
no,
shut
I-
door. Just
no,
cold
I-
shoulder.
No, I don't want that. Which has honestly been a lot of what we've experienced. There's not been many that have been open to conversation through this process, but a lot of it is attached to past church hurt or church people. I would say that's a lot of what I'll see in the world.
So interesting.
Hmm.
So just cold shoulder, walk right by you.
Yeah.
Interesting. You ever?
For me, whenever somebody approaches you, whoever it may be,
Mhm.
there your guard automatically goes up.
Yeah.
Of what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're not just coming here to be kind to me. You're not coming here to love me.
Yeah.
You want something from me, or you're trying to sell me something. And I know how I am whenever people approach me. I'm like, okay, I already know Jesus. I don't know what else do you want from me. So I completely understand people.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
So so the conversation is they want something from me. I've been hurt by this type of people before.
Yeah.
I already know that's what. So then seemingly the first words out of our mouth would be some sort of disengage this area of, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't want anything from you. Almost your sales pitch is you're good.
Yeah.
I don't want anything from you.
Yeah.
I just want to say, hey, I just
Yeah.
want to say, whatever. Here, whatever you're giving, whatever you're doing.
So I came prepared, obviously. The first thing you've got, so in that objection, I actually had this one on my list. I kind of
Okay.
knew you were going to say that. But so if the objection is what you want in return, right? Well, first of all, you need to try to determine what they may be thinking. Like, why are they saying that? What are they thinking? And in that case, it's probably a fear of manipulation. But so how do you overcome that? What can you say? What do you want in return? Nothing at all. It's just a gift to you from us. And that's, it seems simple, but it's all in the preparation. It is simple in what you're saying, but you're prepared in that moment already that if I hear this is what I'm typically, my go-to is a successful, we've had success with overcoming that objection this way.
Yeah.
It's not cookie cutter. Every objection doesn't have a cookie cutter guaranteed answer to overcome, but you have to know in advance what your objections are, what the people that you're getting the objection from or reaching out to is your target audience. What are they thinking and why is that? And then, okay, how do we overcome that in such a way that their thought process changes from one of having their guard up to being receptive to what we're giving, and your response has to make sense to them to be stronger than the concern that they have.
You know what's just, we'll have to put it on monday.com and remind us next year. But I think something that could be very beneficial is let's almost do a video SOP for every event as, hey, if you're walking into this event, here's a quick SOP for you so that here goes some of the ejections you're going to bump into. Here goes some of the things that people are going to say. Here goes what your role is here. You're not to do X, Y, Z. You're to do 1, 2, 3. Maybe it would be more work on you to set those things up in advance, but I think it could be very beneficial for people walking into those events to feel a little more comfortable with, you're going to get rejected. And it's okay. People are going to tell you they're not interested. Doesn't mean they don't like you. Doesn't mean that you're not nice. It doesn't mean you're not pretty. It means that they have a block up for whatever reason. They have a wall up for whatever reason. And so maybe we do some of that going into next year. Some of those, easy, almost a training type SOP for you're walking into this and you need to be prepared for some of these things.
Almost like a customer kindness outreach volunteer training sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that completely because there's at every outreach that I've been a part of or I'm leading, or even if I'm not leading it, I will help the staff member that's attached to it. Hey, make sure they know their role. Make sure they know we're doing or not doing or whatever. But there are scenarios like when we were even just giving out gas cards. It's like, what do I say when I deliver it? Like I had people attached to my side because they needed to see what to do.
Yeah.
You think it's simple, but they want to make sure that they are approaching it in a way that people are going to be receptive.
A great training tool is role playing. You schedule a time with your team to come in and say, hey, I'm going to role play. I'm going to be the customer. You're going to, first of all, there's, and in training, I can't take credit for this, but a principle in leadership that I apply.
Take credit for it.
It's called gapology, right? If there's a performance gap, meaning
gapology,
meaning you're not getting the results that you want from your team, it's either one of three things: a knowledge gap, an importance gap, or an action gap. But you have to start a knowledge gap. You have to ask yourself, have I trained my team on how to do whatever it is I'm asking them to do, and do they know them? So if you can't say yes to that, and it's on you to train them. But then if you can say, well, yeah, I know I've trained them, they've demonstrated it. Advanced Rally course, they've demonstrated and know how. Well, do they know why it's important that they're doing it the way they're doing it, and how and when? Because if you have those two gaps open, you'll always have an action gap closed that you need to close. Because if the team doesn't know isn't knowledgeable, they don't know why they're doing what they're doing, the way they're doing it, and the reason behind it, and the results that they expect, then a lot of times they won't have the buy-in and the commitment, and they won't be committed to doing the actions with the right behaviors and mindset that are needed to generate the results effectively. So.
Yeah. And listen, for you three, this stuff is easy. To walk out there and say, hey, here goes $100 worth of, whatever, how much ever we get. I don't know. Here's $100 worth of gas cards. Go fill up some people's gas.
Sure.
That is easy for y'all. There's people out there that this would terrify them.
Yeah.
Kent will pick up a phone and call anybody. I heard her on the phone today. I mean, she is so good on the phone.
Yes, so good.
But sending her to do some of these things, she gonna have a tough time.
Right.
Yes.
And so
That's why she recruited Carson to go with her.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So so this stuff may seem simple to
Yeah.
us around the table, but for some people, this is a huge step of faith to step out and try to do something like this. And so I think hear my heart for especially Palmetto Pointe Church people, hear my heart. Nobody expects you to be perfect in this.
No.
Nobody
That's the
expects
key.
you. The goal of this isn't to get it right. The goal of this is to show love. So show love to people in the best manner that you can. And I promise you, you'll walk away. You may get rejected some. And it stinks, man. I hate getting rejected.
too.
I
Most
hate
people
it.
don't realize that, but I do. That's
Hate
one
it.
of my fears. But
Yeah, but you've just come to the place to where it's part of it, you know? But I'm not there yet. I'm working on getting there, but I'm not there yet. So I hate getting
oh,
rejected.
I'm not either. I'm not. Don't by any means think I'm there. I'm not, man. Lord knows I still fear rejection. And now mind you, on the business side, doing everything, that is still a bit there. But like in ministry, even right, fear rejection, or fear of, it's kind of even hard to say, but just like fear of, it kind of goes in hand with fear of failure, or also or fear of
The insecurity of not being good enough, of
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
living up to the standard that other people have projected of you. Man, I feel that every time I preach,
fear of sending the wrong message.
Yeah.
I never want to be seen as, doing it for the wrong reason or misinterpreted. Like when I'm playing like solo music, or even when I'm on the worship team, right? The last thing we want is I don't even want to be seen at all, right? But it's a fear of, the false accusations of being, hey, well, they're just up there for a show, or up there doing it for the wrong reason, or this, that, and the other. And, that's a big fear. And in a way, that's kind of a rejection as well, because you feel rejected by the people that you're trying to reach in those
Absolutely.
moments. So it is something that I continue to struggle with as well.
Yeah, and I would say, obviously, you're walking around with a little poop on your shirt there. So rejection is something that you've come to maybe just embrace. Maybe you've just embraced the grossness that is Clemson Tiger football. So
Or you just overcome that objection by knowing that the person that's likely going to be
mute his
editing
mic.
this
Mute his mic.
is also a
We
Clemson
don't want to
fan.
hear it.
He's also a Clemson fan, so I've already overcome that. We're good, right?
I think it's more about the other person than it is about you.
Yeah.
You're going out there with the right motives, with the right heart. You're walking out in love.
I think that's good.
And then it breaks my heart, not for them rejecting me, because I know that it's not rejecting me,
Yeah.
but rejecting the love of Christ
That's
over
good.
them, and that just breaks my heart. I walk away from people like that whenever they're ugly to me. I walk away and just say a prayer for them, because I'm like,
Right.
Lord, help them, help their heart, change their
Yeah.
heart, change their mind. It's not about me that they're rejecting. It's you that they're rejecting, and that breaks my heart more than
That's
it
good.
rejects.
Most
That's
definitely.
very,
That's really
very,
good. Yeah.
very helpful to say that out loud, and other
Yeah.
people that have been rejected or dealt with rejection before hear that and say, you know what, that's true. It's not about me and how I feel about rejection. It's the fact that they just you feel bad for them. That's
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, we have reached our allotted time. Sammy, we got at least one more week.
At
Who
least
we-
one more.
Who we bringing on next week?
Ooh.
Got to figure it out.
Just go
Gotta-
ahead and pick them out the air right
Hint.
now. Oh.
No,
I won't do that to
no.
you. Hint.
So, anyway, thanks for hanging out, Nate.
I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thank you, Kimberly. Sammy, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Love y'all.
At least one
Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.